Evening all. Welcome to the show tonight. We have a special guest, Big John Lawrence. A lot of you will know him. And could you please share, and could you please subscribe to Children's Matter as well and join ACCA. Evening, John. Hello.
Evening, brother. All right.
So
I'm showing myself.
What we'd like to know is a bit of a background check on you before you become an activist, and then why you became an activist.
Right. Well, born and bred in Oldham, Jamaican dad. My dad was like he was a governor of schools. He worked for the unions, did a lot of union stuff. He worked 30 years at the same place, ended up being a big union man. So he met all the like Labour guys of old, of the 60s and 70s and the 80s. He met them all, my dad. Been to all conferences. Always a Labour voter. And then I just seen a change coming in the UK. There's a particular case I go on about that's 19 years ago, which was the Gavin Opley killing in Oldham, and other issues. There was the Oldham riots as well and stuff like that, and that's all like 20 years ago. And after my dad died, I moved to Bradford and spent a bit of time in Bradford. So that was about 2007. And then when I come back to Oldham in 2012, I wanted to join a party other than Labour, so I ended up going down the UKIP road, met up with the local guy who was running in my area, helped him canvass and knock, went to some of the meetings, did a lot more on social media, Facebook specifically. And so that was all pre-referendum, pre-2016. And then since 2016, since I've seen a lot of the stuff going on, the attacks that were happening and stuff like that, I had to like, you know, like get more involved and do something. And started attending demos on my own. And then I met up with people, making great friends, and did about 2 solid years on demos. And in that 2 years, I did well over 100 demos or political events. We did follow some people, but it didn't stop us doing stuff on our own that we felt we should do on our own in Manchester. So the past couple of years, besides going on all the big marches and stuff like that, we was doing stuff on our own, going to like Labour events and going finding the Labour lot when they're out looking for votes, and I'm here. So, but yeah, it's a change of the country, the state of things, and I have to say though, one of my first issues with like the European Union and stuff like that was this the open doors policy and the kind of people we're getting in and stuff like that. And that's been like a big issue in Oldham, because we have like one of the biggest Eastern European immigration hotspots in the country, Oldham, Peterborough, and places like that. And so yeah, and I'm here now, so I'm here.
Do me a favour, seeing you're so tall, stay on the floor. We can't see you.
Yeah, everybody was looking at your chin then for about 10 minutes. So what's your future plans then? What type of protests, and who are you going to support in the next few months when we come out of this lockdown?
Well, a few of us, I mentioned this the other day, we picked up on that Schoolgate campaign about like sex education and LGBT things in schools. So we're going to be tackling that. I've got loads of court cases up and coming to do with various things. Murder, the Emily Jones murder in Bolton. Had a throat slashed, or a throat cut. Then there's grooming cases going on in Barrow and Cumbria. So I've been talking to victims, people related to everything going on up there. So yeah, just busy on all these court cases. I'm not really going to particularly go on any big demos or anything like that. There's one thing I've said, and the next time I go to London, I'll be yellow vesting with Tracy. And other than that, I'm not going to go in London for any other reason. So
yeah, that's same as me.
We've said exactly the same. At the end of the day, the problem is that everyone seems to just want to hit London all the time. And the police have got to suss down there now, ain't you? I mean, you can't even get in there without being fucking pulled, like, so it's pointless. And the thing is, even though you've got the wankers down there that needs to hear what we've got to say, we're always picking on a Saturday, so that they're not there anyway. So let's start it in the towns close by.
Of course, yeah. Like I said, we'd been doing stuff in Manchester as a group, as like our Manchester collective.
Yeah.
We in 2017, while everyone was down in London on some kind of Brexit march, Stand Up to Racism were having the regional conference at Whalley Range. So there's nothing to do with any big group, just like 10 of us. We got banners made up, got a megaphone. We give the police 30 minutes notice, and then we turned up outside the conference. So
Right.
Diane Abbott would have been there, any of the top, like, oh, not eight people and stuff like that. And Stand Up to Racism have links with like some of the hard left people as well. So, but we did it on our own. No one, we just did it on our own. Like I said, I phoned police up, give them 30 minutes notice, and we turned up. And he come over, the guy, the blue top, he said, how long will you be here? And I said, up to 4 hours. And then after 3 hours, he come up to us, said, no, I did say up to 4 hours, so we're doing another hour. Local,
You
during
don't have
the MEP campaign, I got a whiff in the social media grapevine that the Oldham Labour representatives would be in Oldham Town Centre. So with James, it was me, James, Joel, Arlene, and Diane. So we detoured. We went to Oldham. We missed the vet march in the morning, but when we got to Oldham, there was Deborah Abrams, Jewish woman, senior Labour MP. She got kicked off the backbench for bullying. Jim McManaman, another senior Labour MP, who's also like the #1 in Oldham, and Angela Rayner, who's now the new second in command of the Labour Party under Keir Starmer. So they were all there. So we went up and we no questioned them and chased them around for a bit and stuff like that.
But you do know, John, that you don't have to give the police any notice if it's a static demonstration. It's only when it comes to a march that you actually should give them notice. That's the only type. You don't have to on a static.
I did know that then. There was a couple of other reasons why we contacted police, but no, you're right. If you have a static demo, you don't need to give them any notice, which we have done since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fully aware. Yeah. So and of course, I like a lot of different. I support a lot of different causes, and whatever I can do to help anything or whatever cause I'll do. And I'm a nationalist, definitely a nationalist, but I even have some like sort of like ethno-nationalist type views, but I'm reasonable. I'm not really a hater. Most people can talk to me. I'm quite willing to talk to other people. And I'm looking at running actually in local counselling the next few years.
Not fair play, Joe.
Yeah, if you need any help for that, I'm sure we can come up and give you an hand with some leaflets and knocking on doors if you want.
Or honestly, if I run for a councillor position in a certain area, I wouldn't even be the one. I bet there'd be thousands of people would come and support me and knock on doors. Honestly, I know they would. But that's me. That's sort of like my next step now. But obviously, there's still activism things to do. The Labour Party are now having the headquarters in Manchester, so there'll be a lot more senior Labour meetings. There'll be a lot more chance of us meeting up with senior Labour officials if they're going to have the base in Manchester. So yeah, looking forward, man. Still loads of things to do. So.
And you're eating your food.
Did I miss anything out then?
No, I just said you were eating your food. So, did you suffer any abuse or anything when you were a child or anything like that, or did you have a good upbringing?
I mean, we come from a working class background. I never really suffered any kind of abuse, although like I did suffer like sort of like racism. And when I mean sort of like, it wasn't really an issue then because I was man enough to deal with it, you know. And but now obviously it'd be a big issue. And I just remember one guy when I was at school, and the school we were at was predominantly white, but there was black people there, full black Jamaican heritage. There was mixed race people. I was one of them. There was other mixed race people there. We had just a couple of like Muslims, just a couple, and some like Polish heritage or Ukrainian heritage, like first generation kids at school. So I think it was fairly mixed. And some lad come up and he didn't call me any like racial name, but I think he spat my feet. He spat my feet or something like that. And I just said, right, well, after school, behind the sports hall, and we'll have it out. And you know, I dealt with it. Although growing up in Rochdale in the late 70s, I was in Rochdale with one of my sisters or two of my sisters. So I'm only about 14, maybe, or something like that. Or early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And we seen a skinhead guy come through like Rochdale, and he beat up a Muslim. You know, in the street, he beat up a Muslim in the street. And I can't remember if he had like swastika tattoos on and that, but it was a skinhead because there was a couple of others who were skinheads. So I'd seen things, you know, on a ground level and like right in front of my eyes. And but generally in Oldham, there wasn't that kind of racism like they go on about now. There might have been at first, but Oldham's a very diverse town, and some of the communities here are some of the oldest like immigrant communities in the country. Our Bangladeshi community is one of the biggest, if the biggest, or if not one of the biggest in the country, and one of the oldest. We've got some of the oldest Pakistani communities here and stuff like that. So, but we dealt with racism sort of like different back in the day, and it might mean you did have a fisticuffs with someone, but it just got dealt with. And what I think it was is back in the day when the first immigrants come, people were they're just different, and everybody is afraid of difference. Everybody's afraid of something that's different or they're not used to, and stuff, something like that. And let me just find if I can find a speech.
Do you think it's changed now, mind, with everything with the BLM and the movement, the racism? I don't think there was ever racism. Well, since I've been growing up, I never witnessed racism towards somebody else.
Not like the left set, not like the left set.
Yeah.
Like the kind of like racism, right? So Enoch Powell did a speech. Now, a lot of people will say he's too hardcore or he's racist or whatever, but the speech he did that ended up being called the Rivers of Blood speech. Yeah. In it, he talks about the experience of somebody who lives on a street full of new immigrants. Yeah. And she's an old lady. She's not got her husband. She's an old lady. So the new immigrants come onto the street, and she said that in his speech, he stated how she was afraid because they were banging on the door, and they talked different and stuff like that. So this is an old lady. She might have been in the 80s. Now, if any old lady anywhere in England, right, someone starts banging on the door, and they might look different, they might talk different. Of course, they're going to be frightened. So he gave an experience of what this old lady thought. And when I think about how we react to new things, is that people hadn't seen black people. It was something to look at. It happens now. You might see somebody disfigured in the street, and maybe not adults, but kids will look at them and they'll stare at them because they haven't seen this kind of thing before. Now, obviously, you'd say to the child, don't stir, but it's a natural thing to stir or be wary of things that are different or things you've never seen before. And if you look into human nature, when you mix two kinds of people, like when white people have first been introduced to black people on a local level, like in your local towns and stuff like that, it can be scary to people. You know, it can be scary. The left will put the narrative down that no, they're just the same as you and all that lot. They are physically, but culturally they're not the same. Value-wise, they're not the same. You know what I mean? These people are different, so it's normal for us to be afraid. And I think back in the early days, that's maybe what it were like. Obviously, we did have some hardcore racists. No one's going to say there weren't. There was these kind of people, but they were in a minority. They weren't a majority. You know what I mean? But since that, back in the days, I think it's changed a lot. You know, I just didn't see it like you said about racism. I didn't see it as bad as what they make it out to be now.
I'm going to let you finish eating your food, I think. Do you think it's...
Sorry, I hate eating online, but I'm always mad busy.
do you think racism is going to get a lot worse then now? I think it's been put back like 20, 30 years, to be honest with you.
It has, but racism is going to get worse for white people.
Yeah.
They're going to get more racist attacks. They're going to get beat up more. Honestly, if people can't see that, then I don't know you know, like blind. Past few weeks, honestly, past few weeks, I don't want to be like sounding too hardcore, but the past few weeks I've had my best, one of my wingmen, my number one wingman, Mank Dave. I've had him refuse a mask because he were a person of colour in Manchester city centre. He was right next to me, and I was a person of colour. And the woman offered me a mask and didn't offer him. We weren't going to be causing trouble or anything. Kenton was with us, and then last week I went to a small demo in a place called Presswich, and the woman was saying an anti-white speech. I did record it, but you can't hear her talking. But a speech was anti-white. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, like, why are they saying things like that? Why are we allowing these kind of people to say these things? And I don't know if you know, but my dad's name was Granville Wilberforce Lawrence. Them three names have significant history to do with slavery. Granville Sharp, an anti-slavery abolisher in England, an English guy. William Wilberforce, another top Englishman who wanted to abolish slavery. And Lawrence, there's a couple of things to do with Lawrence, but Lawrence is the name of the first town in America where the black man was equal to the white man. And them are my dad's names that have been given through his family. So, of course, I know about history. I know about these guys. And I try to talk about these guys to the lefties. And the lefties just wouldn't have it. They just won't listen to me. You know what I mean? Honestly. And since I've heard these past few weeks, this Black Lives Matter, I'm really concerned. Honestly, I'm concerned for white people. I'm sorry to say it, but maybe we shouldn't be talking about it. But I am generally concerned because my mate's been racially abused in front of me. I've seen a woman giving an anti-white speech, and I've seen people putting the knees down for this woman. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what? Whoa.
I know, it just drives you mad, like absolutely bonkers. Because at the end of the day, we've come so far in our history and everything, and everybody seems to be getting on. And now, because of this one movement, it's caused such a racial divide amongst everybody. At the end of the day, we know the real reason, because COVID didn't work. You know, they brought the race card in. I don't think it's right at all what's going on. But what you're finding with the BLM movement is because me and Paul interviewed a lot of people by Churchill statue when we were protecting it, and we were having some really good, decent conversations with some of the black members of BLM, and they could see our point of view. But it's the extremists, like, which have joined the movement, like Antifa, Hamas, the Muslim Defense League, and I think that's where the problem lies, and that's where the trouble is. Because if you notice on their protests, a lot of the people who are actually doing their graffiti, assaulting the police, and that's actually the white Antifa mob. So I don't know how we're going to go around about stopping this and eradicating it, because we're in such a mess at the moment, I think.
Yeah, because like when we were down there, like the Monday was absolutely brilliant. We, like Phil just said, we had so many debates and conversations with different people. It was amazing. Tuesday, because they've done a bit of a march down to Churchill, it was a bit more different atmosphere. Because like obviously you got the different type of groups in one group. So like you've got your Christians that wanted to preach about Christianity. They got slandered, but then after about half an hour, they were allowed back on the mic and everything like that, which they made good points. You had the ones then that just thought that they were following the likes of the name of BLM then. So they were decent enough to talk to. Do you mean like they asked us why we were there? We explained not to get Churchill doesn't get destroyed and defaced, and then they were like, well, it's not us doing it. So like trying to explain to them that we know that it's not them and it's Antifa. That half of them didn't even know who Antifa was. Yeah, it was nuts. But then you had the radicalized lot then, and to be fair, it was only about five of them. But you could see how different they was as well, like, you know. So I ended up going on the mic, done a little speech, and the role I had was unbelievable. But then obviously once I gave the mic back and got back in position by Churchill, the radicalized ones like went on the mic, so slagged me off for being white and EDL because I'm white, but then once you can't get into them, like, do you mean it doesn't matter what you say to them, you're white, and that's the end of it, isn't it?
Just label
them.
Yeah,
it's mad. It's mad, honestly. I could just only see it getting worse. Yeah, I can just see it getting worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because like I was saying to Red Pill the other week, like I went down to Porthcawl Beach, and there was a group of kids, and no, they were younger than 14, I would say, but there was about 5 of them. They was all in the sand, putting like White Lives Matter. They did put Nazi signs on the beach, like. So when I got down to the beach, I said to him, I said, look, I said, White Lives Matter. I said, I can understand all that shit. I said, but Nazi signs, I said, come on, boys. I said, what the fuck you playing at, like, you know? But like the first response they gave me was, well, at the end of the day, I'm being called racist because I'm fucking white. So if they want to play that games, we'll up the stakes, like, you know? And like before that day, I was trying to explain to like people that's giving it large. I said, even though that they're trying to push the BLM movement, they are going to be pushing our kids into the racism side of it as well, because not all kids are going to follow fucking suit. Some kids will put their fingers up and say, do you know what, go fuck yourself. So you've got to me that you've got the abuse side of it as well, like, you know, because that's what it comes down to. Well,
I mean, it's a good Black Lives Matter. It's a very good tool for the lefties because they want a lot of the same things. The socialists, aren't they? Black Lives Matter at core. They'd want to end capitalism and stuff like that. So, and the lefties, all the hard left, you know, all they're really good at fucking getting on board with these kind of groups. But it's going to backfire because we've already seen people stepping forward saying, well, they're not supporting them because, you know, they support what they're saying, but not how they say it or whatever you want to say.
Absolutely. And this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's like if we got down on the street and start calling out White Lives Matter and all, we'll be racist, this and that, and then, do you know what I mean? So it's they've got to see how why people ain't going to jump on board with the terminology of Black Lives Matter, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's better to go under All Lives Matter because you're all under the same bracket, like.
You still there?
Yeah, he's just muted his mic because he's making a fag.
Yeah, John will be back now in a bit.
Yeah, and Arlene's making brew as well, so yeah, honestly,
happy days. I have 2 sugars.
I am actually going to. They've been having little demos all over the place. I am actually going to turn up the White Lives Matter banner, only to wind them up. Like, I'm not having it. Me, I'm really not having it. Not in my local area anyway.
No.
Yeah, Brett wants coffee with 3 sugars.
Well, he can't. You only have 2 sugars in my house. Nobody has 3. He knows that.
Sorry, Brett. Yeah, should we go back to the LGBT you said about in schools?
Yeah.
So what are your plans then to stop this indoctrination in our schools?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is make people aware of what they can ask for. I wonder if all mums and dads are aware of what they're teaching the kids at school. Are they aware of all these issues? If so, do they agree with them? Do they disagree with them? Build up build up a rapport with the parents and that, and then it's up to them then to get the schools to take this stuff out, because it's sort of like been brought in, like everything else, under the rug. It's been brought in under the rug, under the guise of equality or whatever, and sort of like being forced on some schools. And I've talked to somebody who the school tried to not tell the parents about something, but a few of the parents got on it, and it caused a big stink with the school, and the school got nearly shut down. You know, honestly, it's got the whatever they can do, they're trying to do it to us. So we're just going to talk to parents and stuff like that, and then it's up to them then to go forward from there, because some of the issues is that like some of the stuff being taught, you cannot have it taught to your kids, but when you finally get to secondary school, whatever they put in the curriculum about LGBT, whatever, it's going to get taught. The schools, nobody can not see it, if you know what I mean.
I think it's another tool by the government to split the family unit up. That's what I'm thinking there is, and to confuse children as well. They're too young, and it's going to confuse children at that sort of age. Do you mean? And you're pushing them
that's one of the
things, something which isn't right.
That's one of the things it says on the Schoolgate campaign, is that there's a certain percentage of people who end up being transgender, whatever, and it don't really change. Well, it has changed because they know that it's being pushed on more people. The increase in under 18s wanting to change sexes in the thousands of %, and then now they're finding out as well that comes with all that comes emotional health and mental health and stuff like that. All that's it is, Katie, sort of like halfway fixed, and all them kind of issues come on it, and so it's really scary and what can happen, and they think that if you're telling a little kid that they can love anybody, or you can love your best mate who's a girl, and they sort of like promote that, then you aren't unnecessarily not forcing, but guiding a kid to do something that they shouldn't be doing, and stuff like that. So, but it's a good issue.
Yeah, the other point that I don't like about all this stuff about the LGBT in the schools and that is how they're gonna give them lessons on how to play with themselves and stuff like that, and it just drives me mad. I got 5 grandchildren, and I don't want them to be doing something that they shouldn't be doing until they get to a mature age to do it. Not to be told, oh, if you're feeling down, go and play with yourself. And I certainly don't agree with any of the bullshit that they're starting to teach them around about 6 years of age. It's not right. It ain't right.
Definitely not right. Honestly, Phil, definitely not right. It's scary. It's scary.
When this COVID came about and they were using the rainbow for the NHS and all that, What was your initial thoughts straight on that? Like,
well, I mean, I'm a supporter of the NHS, but and whether people think COVID is not false or not true, whatever. We have had viruses before in society. Viruses are always there. We have 200 dormant viruses in our bodies at any one time.
Yeah, I think what Paul was trying to say. What do you think about the symbol of the rainbow with the NHS? Because it's linked to the LGBT. Everybody knows that.
It's not the same rainbow. It's not the same rainbow. I'm sure it's not the same colours. I'm positive we've looked at it.
Yeah.
But what I mean, what I'm saying is that the government, what they're saying about the virus, this could happen, but it might not. But it could happen to us, and it could be nature's fault. It could be our fault, and loads of people get wiped out. You know what I mean? They've got very good evidence, and they know how that happened because of things like a Black Plague. And since then, we know that the rats and stuff like that transferred this Black Plague and made things. So, in this day and age, with us doing genetic things and messing about with viruses, because loads of people say it's made up in the lab.
Yeah, I think it is.
One day, someone might get out and cause a zombie plague. So these kind of things that they're doing now are things that should have been done before, and they have been, but on small scale. These kind of things that we're doing now with all this national lockdown, this has been done before, but in other countries, but on a lot smaller scale, you know, in the past, you know, yeah. and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Africa and Ebola and stuff like that. Africa and Ebola is a perfect example, where they locked down a few of the countries there.
So whether you believe it or not, I'm sure that the flag is different colour. I'm going to try and look it up now.
Yeah, it don't matter if it is. A rainbow's a rainbow. And everybody kind of looks at a rainbow and thinks of LGBT. So...
yeah, good ploy of the lefties. Somebody who did that rainbow thing, they were definitely a lefty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no.
But what I don't like is also with the NHS and the police service, that they put in these sort of things onto their vans and police cars and ambulances and stuff, and it's just to promote the LGBT. And I just don't understand it. Why our taxes are getting spent on something which we don't want? Because the majority of the country don't want it. As simple as that. They want the money spent on the NHS or on the police force, not on police vehicles and their sign writing, to promote some other far left organisation like the LGBT.
Well, actually, it does actually look the same. I thought there was something different in
a rainbow's a rainbow, John.
But it just make it like as soon as I seen it, it just made me fucking sick, like, trimming, because like obviously we understand and we know what the LGBT and what they stand for, and then fair enough, the NHS, like my personal views is, since this COVID thing, you've had everyone jump up and want to praise the NHS. But everyone should have been praising the NHS fucking years ago. But that's another story, Drew. But then to put a symbol on something that is trying to legalise paedophilia is absolutely outrageous.
And the rainbow is a sublime message. The rainbow is a sublime message. That's what they've done. So that they used to do it with adverts and stuff like that, and it was outlawed. So I don't know why they can do it. Can still carry on doing it.
Well, maybe so, but I mean, it's definitely all connected with the COVID. Whatever reason you think we've got all this going on and like the flag and LGBT. I've no doubt that there is something going on, but still, when I think about it logically, and I don't think about LGBT and I think about the virus, then I do think that the steps they've taken can be portrayed as like necessary. But I've already talked about this before, and I've talked about viruses that they're going to happen anyway, and the best way for it to happen is to let it go into the population. But if you let it go in too quickly, then you'd have too many people in hospital. There's a few videos where it explains all this, so why we're on lockdown. But on the other hand, if it's a conspiracy, it's a conspiracy for something or other. You know what I mean? I'm a bit on the fence with it at the moment, but I know it is a bit iffy with the LGBT thing, but I don't initially see that, mate. I just don't initially see that, but I'm guessing other people would do so.
Yeah, no. I just thought I'd ask you the question.
So how did your weekend go then, John?
Good. Obviously, I met Bobby and Joseph Blur again. It's not often we get social time with them. Normally, we're on a demo or something like that, or they're speaking or something. So I like my social time, and just great. Everyone around me, all my like bestie patriot friends were all there, and that.
Except for us two.
Yeah.
Except for us two.
We were dealing with scumsy assholes.
Yeah, in Swansea.
Yeah, well, we'll make up for it on 24th.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, defo. So, what was the demonstration about in Manchester then on Saturday?
We called it the morning depot, morning demo, as in we're mourning the loss of people, victims and stuff like that. Bobby and Joseph laid a wreath for PTSD, people who committed suicide and stuff like that. I think, did he give a figure of, I'm not sure if the figure was 80 something last year, people took their own lives, ex-armed forces.
And 27 already this year or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they laid a wreath then. Jimmy spoke, Jimmy the Act spoke.
37, 32.
Jimmy the Act spoke about various things. I had a bit of a speech and I talked about Gavin Opley, who'd been killed in Oldham. The highest sentence for his murderers was 21 months and the lowest sentence was 9 months. Yeah. And his family stated that they felt let down by the justice system. And honestly, it just and that was 19 years ago, and that was a really big part of the change in my views, how I felt about Oldham, England. Chris Donald, so like I said, 19 years ago, it was a big thing for me, that, and why I remember this particular incident was I was out on that night, because later on that night I got pulled off the police, and they asked me if I had seen any lads being chased, and it was these lads who got chased, and one of them didn't come back. So I remember it crystal, and I talked about Gavin, and like I said, but Joseph and Bobby, suits on with the berets, and then they laid a wreath for the
it was good to see the lads with their berries on, man, wasn't it?
Yeah, they looked dapper.
First time.
Yeah, definitely. What did you get off CM then?
For your birthday on Friday?
Pardon, what?
What did you get off Children's Matter
on Friday? For your birthday?
I've got all sorts of things. Katie's got me a cup. I've got a Children Matter beaker thing. All sorts of bits of little things.
You got spoiled then.
Yeah. But like Mank Dave and his missus Liam got me a card and it had like toilet roll in it and a tea bag. Because toilet roll was all in the shop supply at my house and a tea bag.
And no sugar off.
And I went back and said it better be four-ply.
So how did your party go on Friday night then? Because I did hear a little bit about it.
Ended up sleeping in a tent. Didn't go to sleep till about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Fair play.
Yeah, spot on.
You went to bed later than you did down the farm then?
Well, yeah. But on the second night, I got dragged out of bed, didn't I?
That's right. Yeah, we needed the karaoke king, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Well, if Brett can make it, who's in the chat, can make it on 24th, and he managed to get down. He's supposed to be like putting up a little bit of a fight, but the best singer that I know of is Arlene, and Arlene's going. She belts them out.
Does she? Yeah,
she's catching a flight down, isn't she, from Inverness?
Yeah, to Bristol.
Yeah. There should be quite a few of us this time. Well, we had a lot of people there last time, but I think it's going to be a busy weekend, to be honest with you.
Certainly.
And it'll get messy. It'll get messy. That's a definite.
So,
have you been learning your dance that Nanny wants us to learn?
You got your red shirt, Daddy?
Not really. I've got my red shorts. I haven't got any boots, but I have got something I can put on my feet. I've got a red shirt, and but I think I can do the dance anyway. I don't really have to learn it that much. I'll just improvise on the night.
So you're going to do the splits, you?
I'll try. Might do a
I think I'll just sit in a chair and carry on drinking, I think, that weekend and just start laughing. That's what I'll be doing.
Brett is coming down. So, yeah. So, there's going to be some action on the karaoke.
Awesome. Happy days.
Yeah.
So remember... I said earlier on, I just want to bring this up. So earlier on, I talked about how I moved to Bradford.
Yeah.
For a few weeks. So it was 2007, and I come back 2012. So about 5 years I spent up there. But I met a guy while I were up there, and he was a salesman. And I think it was the second Christmas. I sort of like spent a bit of a Christmas with him. I went round to his house. We didn't live too far away. I wasn't going to Oldham, or I would have been, but it might have been after Christmas or New Year or something. So he invited me round, and he had like Christmas lunch with his family, and then like his missus's family, mum and dad and stuff like the daughter. Then, so I worked with him. Then he's moved off working somewhere else, another area. Then a couple of years later, he's come back. So I've been in a bit of contact with him. And he fell out with his missus. Yeah. And then she ended up moving to South Yorkshire. And the daughter ended up getting like sort of like groomed.
Brilliant.
And I remember the day I were in work. And I had like a little shed, and it was out of the way and all that lot in one corner of the yard. And just come in the shed and just start getting upset, started crying, then told me what had gone on and stuff like that. And then, so this is the first time I've met somebody who I would say I knew. I've known for a few years, nice geezer. Like I said, I've spent time with his family, and like he talked to me, told me what went on, and I'm asking him questions, and he was saying things like, no one's listening to us or anything like this, you know, and no one's listening to us. And then obviously what I know now is how they treated like victims. He has got some, he did get some kind of justice, but it wasn't, it's only just recently, I think it was 2018 that they got some justice. So this happened about 2010 or 11. So they've only just got some justice now. But there's loads of stories like that. There's loads of people who tell you the same story, and looking into the grooming gangs and all that lot. That's one of the things that's repeated in all the stuff, is how he was ignored by the police and the authorities. And at the moment, Manchester's going through that with Victoria Aglioglia, where the authorities, the police, everyone's ignored everything, and she ended up killing herself. You know what I mean? And you know, it's not the fact. It's not the fact that this. People will rant on about Islam and oh, they do this in, this is how they do it, this is what the Quran says and all that. But besides that, our own people who's supposed to look after us, our counsellors, our social services, the English people have ignored the victims because they felt that if they say anything against someone else's culture or anything, you know, it's racist. And you know, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and when I rant on, I always rant on about the Labour. I always rant on about the councils. When I tell you that, like, Victoria Aglioglia was reported missing 150 times to the police, 150 times to the police, and one of the guys who's suspected of abusing her went on to get convictions in similar kind of cases after what happened to Victoria. So they just like ignored everything. So who did they think they are, that like they should be ignoring the victims and all that lot? That's why I hate our councils and our government and the Labour Party. They've ignored everything.
Arseholes, isn't he?
But I think that's where the problems stem. They start with the councils, and we need to do something about it. It's the same as the police force. They're funded by the councils and that, and now they've come together, and it's just going to make matters worse, I think, because they just do what the councils want to do, like, and they don't want to highlight anything and ask for us. They just want to hide things.
Yeah. All right. I won't be a second. I'm just going getting a fag. It won't be a minute.
Yeah. No worries.
Don't
Yeah, so can I say something?
Yeah.
Come on. I can't wait to see Big John do it.
Yeah, we can't wait for Big John to do his little short dance, his dance with the red shorts on. But I can guarantee you, I will not be dancing with no red shorts on. And that's a definite. And I'm not learning no dance moves. Simple as that. I'm just going to learn how to pull a pint. No, I'm not. I ain't. You might get me on a karaoke, but that'll be about the limit. And you'd be sorry that you got me on a karaoke. Are you learning a dance move?
No, my fuck.
Why not?
No.
I'll get you a pair of red shorts, mate.
No, you're right, man.
Yeah.
I don't do dancing. Who's that, Lizzie?
Yeah, I bet it is, Lizzie.
You can fuck off and home.
So yeah, go back to the LGBT shit and stuff like that. So what I'd suggest is you start asking your children what they're getting taught in school, because it shouldn't be happening. The parents or the grandparents should know what's going on and what they're getting taught, like, not just coming home with this shit. And if I find out my grandchildren are getting abused, because there is abuse at the end of the day. They shouldn't be taught that at a certain age. So I'd say stand outside your school gates, ask those questions. What, and ask the rest of the parents if they think the same. Like, do you know what I mean? He's back now with his fag. You want to carry on with your story now, John?
Where were you up to then?
Standing outside the schools, asking questions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, first of all, the parents know what the kids are learning in school. That's the first thing that's going to be asked. Now, if a parent says to me, "Well, no, I don't particularly," well, and I can just say, well, primary school age, going to teach you that you can love anybody, stuff like that. Then you can explain that by junior school, they're teaching you about things like anal sex and stimulating yourself and stuff like that. They also going to be promoting to, like, a woman, a girl, that she should start having sex from the age of 13, even though the legal limit to have sex with someone under 18 is 16 is illegal. But they're going to promote that. And what I can see off that is issues coming up in court cases in the future and stuff like that. And I mean, we treat kids I don't know. I think we give kids too much responsibility sometimes, and we treat them too much like adults, because we know that a lot of young people developing have issues with certain things. We know there's a change when a girl starts to come into womanhood and has a first periods and things like this. Is all like really hard on the girls and all that, which makes them vulnerable, you know, and stuff like that. So do we say that 16-year-olds can vote, or do we say that like they should be older and stuff like that? But anyway, so we just want to talk to them and to the parents, and we are picking. I've got a couple of schools in question, and the predominant there's a lot of Muslims in the school. So, and I can only expect good conversations with these people, because they don't like that stuff. Because it was Muslims in Birmingham who first protested against LGBT. Then they moved to Oldham, but there is other communities. And at the moment, if, like, say you're a stout Christian and you say you don't believe in it, then they call you a homophobe. You know what I mean? But they don't call the other side that. This what went on in Oldham. So the protest started in Birmingham. They moved to Oldham, and then live on national telly, one of the activists to do with the protesters said, if you don't take it out of schools, there could be riots in Oldham again. That's what he said live on telly. And no one said nothing to him. No, there were no media backlash. There were nothing like that. Now, if I would have said that, I'd have been all over the media. So if we can get down there, talk to people, film it, and then put it online, and hopefully that'll, like, create more people to talk about it. Whenever I talk to mothers, I always said, you know what, teaching your kids at school. That's one of the first questions I ask a woman when I know she's got young children. That'll be what I'll ask her. And the parents are waking up, and some parents are making a step of saying they don't want this or they don't want that. Talk to the kids. So it's starting from there, really. It's sort of like starting from scratch, but it should be interesting.
Yeah, like, have you seen these couple of videos that's going around, like with these strippers in front of kids and all
that? Yeah, I follow Scottish family party, and they've got some good videos. And what happened is they was putting a transvestite guy into a school, to like teach the kids and all that lot. And when you went on his social media, he had things like strangulating someone when you're having sex with them, and these kind of like hardcore images. He drank loads of beer, and he was always on social media. All his Facebook were full of drunken fucking rants and stuff like that. And they ended up getting him stopped from going to the school. So I thought I do a lot on the Scottish family party. They have sort of like the nice values.
We kind of lost you.
Yeah, someone's trying to phone me.
Isn't there a website where the parents can go on and have a look what they're actually being taught?
Of course, I'll get it up. I'll get it right up now.
That'd be brilliant. That will.
Well, this is a Schoolgate campaign website, but it does give you the links to look at the national curriculum and
That's
stuff like
government
that.
based, then, is it?
Pardon?
That's government based, yeah.
Yeah, the Schoolgate campaignism, but the links it can give you to the government stuff is government. The Schoolgate campaign is done by a woman in London. Absolutely nothing to do with the government. Absolutely nothing to do with the government.
Right. Yeah. If you send that to me, I'll start sharing it about the parents should actually look into their education and seeing what they're being taught. I think start promoting it that way on Facebook as well.
The Schoolgate campaign page, it gives you a brief overlay of what they're doing, but it also gives you links to the World Health Organization, what they're saying on this, and our national things. Anybody from any school can check what the curriculum is. If they can't find it online, they ask at school, and they should be given the information. It's as simple as that. But yeah, so I mean, there's a video in the Schoolgate campaign, and it says a few things of what the overall intention or the pros and cons of showing all this stuff. But it's the first step. But like I said, I got in contact with a woman, and as soon as lockdown's over, we're going to get some leaflets, and we've got a particular school lined up to target, and just talk to the parents. We're not protesting, we're just talking to parents about what the kids are being taught. We've got to remember that it's not a protest. We're talking to people. That's what we're doing.
Trying to educate them
and spread awareness.
Yeah.
So they got an informed choice of what they want to actually do, like doing, and what's going on. There's not enough information out there, as far as I'm concerned, doing what actually is going on in schools, and they tend to hide the fact what they're trying to teach our schools are not just LGBT. It's about eroding our history and stuff like that. And it should actually be stopped. It should be. You should be proud of your history, even though it's good or bad. But that's how you learn from it.
Exactly. And if you were erased history, you're doomed to repeat the mistakes you made in the first place.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing there to get referenced. I'm sure that's a famous quote that somewhere down the line. And so yeah, and the Scottish Family Party, they're really good. Them. The guy who runs it, who's like the leader, does detailed videos. He shows you, calls out the hypocrisy of them and stuff like that. He's not aggressive. He just shows the hypocrisy and the untruths that they're all going on about.
So have you got any plans for the next couple of weeks? Except for
court. I think we're in court this week. Jonathan, I think it's we've got a Preston court case within a week or 2 weeks, and then obviously the 24th of July, August, nothing in August, then September and October. So, but yeah, so I think we're going to Preston, and it should be this week, if at the earliest, next week at the latest.
yeah, we're starting back up our awareness days through Wales, which we'll be hitting the local towns, and obviously with the child abuse and the care system and everything like that, we'll be hitting the streets again, I think, next week. So maybe even early as Friday. We got a couple of tens of thousands of leaflets, so we need to get those out there and just spread awareness to what's actually happening.
Start waking people up. What's happening out there?
It's not enough people are awake in Wales. That's the problem we got. So we're trying to keep it local for the minute.
All shit houses.
Yeah. You're Welsh.
Well, you don't.
All right, then we're going to end the show now, right, John? Thanks for coming on.
No problem, guys. Anytime.
And, we'll see you on the 24th. That's definitely for a pint. And we'll look forward to seeing you doing a live in your red shorts, doing your dance.
Oh yeah, no problem. Honestly, no worries on that score. Honestly, no shame, me. Absolutely no shame at all.
Yeah, but before we go, I'd just like to say all the thank you messages and encouragement messages going out to Paul, because this lad is actually giving up drinking from today onwards, and
For good.
No, it's not for good.
he's going to try his hardest, and we need to be there and support him. He's been through bloody hell, this man has. So just keep on giving those messages of support into him, and hopefully he can get through it. Well, he will get through it.
Right, well, so there's no beer for you then on 24th.
No, I'll be drinking. I'll be drinking, just not 2 crates in one night, Luke.
He's going to stop his drinking until the 24th, and then he's going to let rip for the weekend.
Yeah, get pissed out after drinking too.
Yeah, and then after that, he's given up for good then. So awesome news. You know what I mean? So yeah, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Could you please all share? Katie, over to you. You can put our intro on if you want to. And have a good night.
Or have you got questions yourself?
Or have you got questions, Katie? Katie?
Why do you always try and bring me on?
Well, you sometimes you've got some real humdinger questions, haven't you? So
I've got one. I've got one. I want a spot on this. I want a spot for a show.
I will start it out with you. I will start it out with you. I know you do. Right. I've not had any time until today to do anything, John. You've seen how many people have been in my house. I'm sore. I had to disappear and put my back brace on because I'm sore.
Oh, too much jumping around in that, honestly.
Still last one bloody standing though. Everyone thought I was going to be fucking out for it. Nah, mate, Irish in me kicked in. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys get back to it. So I'll put the outro on.
All right then.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Big John.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Everyone. Please share. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Why is it not?